head coach of the North Adams-Jerome volleyball team. Coach, thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome.
All right, let's talk about how this all came to pass now. You're the head coach, but you played obviously for Darren Kittle at North Adams for all of those years. Talk a little bit about coming up in the game and your love for the game of volleyball.
Well, I didn't start playing volleyball till probably 6th grade. I started in Acers, and Darren was the head of that program. And I kind of grew up in his volleyball theories, I guess. And then once I got to 7th and 8th grade, I always went to every volleyball game, watched Darren all the time, all of his teams. And once I got into 9th grade, I was moved up to varsity, so I played under Darren for 4 years and learned his type of volleyball. And pretty much a lot of what I know and how I coach right now is from what I've learned from him.
Darren Kittle is one of the most successful high school coaches in the county. He's been on our show. Darren's probably listening right now, shouting the number at the radio. 4 or 5 times he's been on. And he's a gentleman. I mean, the way that he works with players, it always struck me as being a little bit different, because you see a lot of coaches kind of yelling at the kids, and he went about it differently. It seemed like he was having fun a lot of the time, even during the game. Not that he wasn't intense, because he was, but just talk about the way that Darren Kittle coached the game of volleyball, and what have you been able specifically to kind of glean from him and use in your own coaching?
Darren is very intense, but he uses it in a good way. He knows when to have fun and when to be intense, and he knows that every player reacts differently to different situations. He knew that if he yelled at me, I would probably get down on myself and not play very well. So he knew that he had to be a little more fun with me, whereas there's other people that were on our team that they took that well. They took the yelling well, and they could, they played well under that pressure. So he just knew how to handle each situation differently. Are
you finding that same kind of ability to do that with your players and sort of customize the way that you coach each and every one of them?
That's what I'm trying to learn right now. Yeah.
How tough is that to do? Very
differently, and it's pretty much just you have to try and try again and see what works, and it's different for every team as well. I mean, you have to learn, if your team handles pressure well, what to do under pressure, or just if your team just how they play and how to react differently to get them to play better.
Kelsey Cortright is the head coach of the North Adams Rams. She brought her captains tonight, and we'll be talking to them in a couple of minutes. You coached JV in Darren Kittle's program for how many years?
2 years.
So a couple of years at the JV level, and how weird was that, to get back into the program and start to coach with Darren at that sort of level on the 9th and 10th grade scene?
It was great, just because I think we were both on the same page, and I still continued to learn from him, and we kind of, we had the same, like I said before, theory of volleyball, and I think we fit well together as a team. And
then how did it come to pass that you were going to be the head coach? Obviously, his daughter graduated last year. It had been rumored that he was finally going to hang it up, and I think it was very difficult for him. I think it's still difficult for him, because he loves these kids, and he loves the game of volleyball. And I know, as a coach myself, there is nothing that you will ever do that will replace coaching. I'm into broadcasting. It's fun. It's cool. But there's something about coaching that you're never really going to get out of your system. And I know for Darren, it had to be a very difficult decision to step away.
Right. Darren always tells everyone that Rams volleyball comes from the heart, and that's how we all play. That's how I coach. Darren had told me the beginning of his last year that he was fairly sure that he was going to be retiring, and asked me to step up in his shoes when he left. And although I knew that they were big shoes to fill, I was very excited about it. However, I know that Darren misses every single minute of it. Every day I get a call from Darren, seeing how all the girls are and how things are going, making sure I'm okay. It's nice, and he misses it.
you're the head of this program now, and so that's exciting and probably a little scary all at the same time, but you get to take it in a direction that you see fit. As the years pile up now and you do this, not just your first year, but going forward, where do you see Rams Volleyball going on into the future? Any sort of designs on what you'd like to see and do with the program?
Well, hopefully, my number one goal is just to keep it the way it is. I guess our motto is
blood, sweat, tears. I know which one.
Blood, sweat, tears, and that's what Darren always preached, and that's what I preach to the girls. And I'm just hoping to keep the same intensity, drive, and the want to be on the court and the want to go after every ball, and just keep the sisterhood going, I guess.
I like that. And what is it about North Adams and volleyball? I mean, I worked at North Adams. Other than where I work now at Camden Frontier, I feel closer ties there than any other school around, and know a lot of good people there, like your dad, who was my boss for a while there at North Adams. And what is it about North Adams and that community in the game of volleyball? Because we've not seen a small school like that flourish in that sport around here like you guys have. Can you kind of put your finger on what the difference is over there?
I'm not really sure. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that, you know, Darren just brought up this program, and he just put an importance on it that the girls feel. Like, they know that when they're on the volleyball court, it's important not only to them, but to everyone that's ever played there in the past. And they just feel like last night when we lost against Waldron, like, they all had tears in their eyes. They all cared. Like, it's just an importance that they really put on it, I guess.
Kelsey Cortright's the head coach of the North Adams-Jerome Rams. They are 2-1 early on in the season in the SCAA. Talk about last night. Waldron is a team that North Adams generally would handle. I understand. I have not talked to the Waldron coaches yet, but I hope to. But, you know, they're an improving squad over there, and they had a good night last night. Talk about the game last night.
Well, Waldron definitely has improved since the last time I've seen them. And they let nothing touch the floor. Like, our girls were hitting the ball. They just had a sort of drive to them that I've never seen before. Nothing landed on the floor on their side of the court, and they gave it everything they have. And I think we might have came into it a little less prepared, less intense to play that game. We were kind of looking on to other games because, like you said, Waldron isn't someone we usually have to focus on. So I think that's where we got caught up.
And it was right down to the wire.
Yes, 5 games.
You know, people that don't watch that game of volleyball, and I'll confess that I'm a recent person who have recently understood this. I had a chance to watch the Chargers team that made it to the state or the national quarterfinals, I want to say, last year. And volleyball is it's an incredibly intense sport, and it's exciting to watch. People that haven't seen it maybe don't get it, but if you would watch a good match, maybe not a blowout, but a good one, it's exciting, and you're fighting for every single point. And you know, you get great crowds at North Adams that really get into the game, and that's got to be a lot of fun. And
it's very up and down.
Right.
It's just high emotion. You know, everyone's going for every ball, and it's just very fun to watch and to be a part of.
And to get the Rams home section screaming.
Yes.
And get them going a little bit.
Yep.
You mentioned that Darren said he'd be stepping down. You get the job. It's official over the summer. No doubt you're starting to implement what you want to do.
Yep.
That first practice, when it's head coach Cortright now, instead of Kittle for the first time in 20-some years, what was that first practice like when you kind of took the head coach whistle, and started up your program?
Well, me being prepared as usual, we started in the spring doing workouts and everything just to get girls, you know, into it, kind of playing a little bit, and but I think it didn't really hit me until mandatory practices started, and I'm like, where's Coach Kittle? But you know, sometimes I still question, like, am I doing the right thing, you know? And I just have to take it into consideration that, you know, I learned everything I did from him pretty much, and I think our first practice was a good one. We do a lot of conditioning. We do a lot of drills, so we get a lot in.
You got a lot of size from the captains there when you said a lot of conditioning. You you get into your first game and the league season and all the rest of it. Talk about the SCAA. It's a weird year. You mentioned Waldron's a lot better. Camden and the Academy have been good. We'll see about that this year. The one constant besides you has been Battle Creek, St. Phillips.
Right.
Climax is generally pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of take a look at the league, only 3 games into your league season, what do you see as far as the league this year?
It's just different than what we normally see. Usually St. Phil, Climax, us and Camden are at the top. And usually those are, the tough games that we have. This year, like I told the girls at practice today, we have to go into every game prepared for anything. We have to fight for every game, every point, instead of looking over teams and, when do we play Camden next? Or every team will be a fight this year.
No cruise control in the 2012
Correct.
Rams. We got to keep the pedal to the metal.
Right.
Why don't you introduce who you brought with you tonight?
Well, first we have middle hitter, senior, Casey Farmer. And then we have senior, she's pretty much just plays wherever I put her. Cheyenne Monahan, she's our setter, right side hitter right now. And another captain, junior, outside hitter, Emily McKinney.
Well, Casey Farmer is a kid that I got a chance to work with in a JCC class last year, and I know for sure you've got a top young person right there. Yeah. Casey, it's got to be weird with a new head volleyball coach. It's got to be a little bit different. How's that transition been for the players so far this year?
For the juniors and sophomores, or sophomore, they've had Kelsey before, and so they were kind of accustomed to what it was going to be like. And then for us seniors, we've always had, or the 3 of us have always had Darren. So, it was a little bit of adjustment. I think we're getting there. We're coming together as a team. It's tough to fuse 2 completely different teams together, and so we're working on stitching up our relationships with each other.
Mm-hmm. Getting that chemistry worked out and all the rest of it. Emily McKinney you're a senior as well.
No, I'm a junior.
You're a junior, so prospect for the future. That's nice to have. Emily, you are kind of a person that goes into some different spots, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about your role on the volleyball team.
I always play with my hardest, and I go for everything, and I try to keep the Legend of Rams volleyball going. And
so when you say you go for everything, that means that, I don't know how it works. Do you have a zone that you're responsible for? Or are you supposed to run the whole court? How does that work?
Like, you have your own zones. Like, each person has, their own position that they play, and you got to cover your area entirely.
But I would imagine at some points it's just throw caution to the wind and just try to get the darn ball. At that point. Cheyenne Monahan is with us as well. Cheyenne, new coach, a little bit different take on things, but still Rams volleyball, and the expectations are still high. The legacy is there, and I know you guys don't want to see a drop off.
Yeah.
And how tough is that? Does that weigh on you guys a little bit as a team? Do you feel that weight of the history of the program kind of behind you?
Yeah, I feel like we lost a lot of important seniors last year, so we're all just trying to fill in and help as much as we can. And
create your own history and your own legacy, because it's your time now, and you get one chance to do this, and you want to do it right. Casey, as a captain, I know you take that. I'm sure that you take that seriously. How do you see your role as a captain on the volleyball team? What things are sort of under your jurisdiction as far as the captain goes?
Well, being a captain just means being a leader. What I take on myself is to get everyone excited. I'm a very excited person, and so when I try to get other people pumped up, it gets, the team going together, in games, yelling, screaming, doing cheers, being positive, I think helps the team play as a team, and that's important. It's not a one-man game.
How much do you think, Coach Cortright, that you can sort of delegate to a team captain? Do you expect the captains to kind of help you with that morale and chemistry that they talked about, or is that still the head coach's job?
Well, I would like to think it's a little of both.
Right.
Obviously I have a responsibility to make sure the team meshes and make sure we come together and, do everything that's supposed to be done. But I like the captains there just because they see things that I don't, and I like to know, what's going on behind that, and just to step up and be leaders on the court and take charge on the floor.
Looks like you have some pretty good captains, and I'm sure it's a lot of fun for you to work with them. Finally, before we let you go, the next couple of games on your schedule, what's your next game, and what are you working on? What do you need to get better at as you go into the heart of the SCAA season?
I think our next game is Pittsford. We play Pittsford tomorrow. I believe that we need to work on mostly just intensity. We have the skill that's there, but like Casey said, we're combining two teams together, and I think it's been tough for them to come together. When we play, we need to work on intensity, drive, just aggressiveness, and the willingness to go after a ball and know how the person next to you is playing, and just kind of come together as a team and fight all the time and not let that drop off. Consistency.
Your mom rooting for the Rams tomorrow?
Of course.
Okay. She worked a lot of years at Pittsford, and I know she doesn't have a split allegiance when it comes to volleyball.
Yeah.
She's a Rams volleyball fan. A couple of notes from some friends of the program that I'd like to read to you and let you guys respond to however you want. Kaylee Hodshire writes, now, here's what I asked for questions for you guys or comments, and she writes, ask Coach why does she have to be such a good coach, and why do the girls have to be such amazing teammates? That's kind of a rhetorical question, I think. Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to respond to that.
It's loaded.
Well, I have to be a good coach because that's what they pay me to do, right? Darren Kittle writes, Andy, this kid, Kelsey, will succeed. No one will work harder than her. She knows no other way. She will take the program to the next level. I am so proud of her. I wouldn't want anyone else to take over the reins of Rams volleyball. So pretty good to hear that from Coach, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yep, that kind of says it all. Well, we'll be following you guys the rest of the year. We're excited to see how the league works out this year. It's unpredictable, and I think you guys are one of the teams that has a real shot. So we wish you the best of luck, and we really appreciate you guys coming out tonight.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank
Rams
you.
volleyball at Pittsford tomorrow?
At Pittsford.
What time?
Start about 5:30 JV.
5:30 JV at Pittsford. The Rams versus the Wildcats. A good old-fashioned Hillsdale County volleyball showdown. And if you get a chance, head on out and watch these kids. Casey Farmer, Emily McKinney, Cheyenne Monahan, and head coach Kelsey Cortright. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.